Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever it is for you, wherever you are in this great big world. We are coming to you live from the Static Planet. Real quick, Dale, you know what I learned today? You know what you don't ever do? Never, ever do this. Never have an arm wrestling match with a guy that's been single for more than 6 months. Oh stop, I'm still killing. Anyway, so I can't believe it. Dude, I had my apple cider vinegar. I had my cold shower with Piper Nooch today, and they're going to be a little upset because we're going to be talking about doggos today. Don't tell the cats. So I'm kind of doing a trade-off right now. The cats are in the other room. They're going to come in and figure it out and be a little upset, but that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so much going on here, folks. Oh, my God. Who am I? Michael John. Michael John's Paranormal Ghost Stories. My co-ghost host next to me. That way. There he is. Dale, High Spirits Quigley. He's the man of the hour, the man of the power. You are always, sir, too sweet to be sour. And thank you for being you. And that's why I love you. We got so much going on today. What a great show. I'm stoked. I'm excited. We're going to talk about paranormal. We're going to talk about animal shelters. We're going to talk about saving lives in an unparalleled way. So many amazing stories. Piper, get down. Speaking of the cats, here she comes trying to rush right now. Okay, watch the cords, please. Sorry. Dale, what do we got going on? We got a few things happening ourselves. Busy, busy, busy. Hashtag blessed, thankful, grateful, humbled. Shout out to Facebook. Shout out to YouTube. Shout out to KGRA Digital Worldwide. Shout out to the Get Haunted Paranormal Podcast Program. So many opportunities. So many people have our backs. Thank you to everybody. TPV Nation. Day one to day now. We don't get to do what we do without you. Dale, I've rambled on. Holy cow. Stop me.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, this is our favorite time of the year because we are now just down the road, round the corner. I see it in our sights, the first event of the year, but we're not going to talk about that right now because our tonight's guest is all a part of that event. So we're going to talk a lot about it. But coming up in April, another exciting event for us coming up. That's right, folks. We are going to be speaking at the Spirit, Mind, and Body event up in Oxford, Michigan. Of course, with the lovely Candace and Exie Bruce, Suzanne Smith. What an amazing event, and we are going to be there. We are going to be talking about us and what it's talking about the podcast. We're just going to be talking about everything paranormal at this event. So that is April 20th up in Oxford, Michigan. Doors open at 1 o'clock, goes to 6 p.m., I believe.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, it is an amazing event. Come on down. It's about self-care. It's about self-love. It's about getting in contact with yourself with Exie and Candace. Two beautiful ladies, two really great friends of ours. And we're so grateful that they wanted us to be a bigger part of the event this year. We were there last year. We cut our teeth there. This year, they're having us back. We're going to talk, and we hope everybody will join us, get in on the celebration. So, yeah. And also, of course, coming up April 13th, we are going to be at the Midwest Parafest, of course, with Chatter. Boy, I can't talk. See, you got me so hyped up. I get it. Chad Dye and Heather Hansen. We are going to be up there. That's April 13th, Midwest Parafest in Toledo, Ohio. Check that event out. Another amazing event. Got a huge lineup, and they've got some really special things. This year, folks, all the speakers, you can actually buy a ticket to sit right there at their table, hang out. You get to hang out with Tim Shaw, Exie, Candace, Andrea Perrin,
Chatan Noir, Mary Bassett.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, so go over to MidwestParaFest.com, get your tickets, and choose who you would love to sit at the table. And I hear that there's some amazing things that are strummed up by some of the speakers. When you sit at their tables, they got some great things happening at their table. So you'll be able to get to rub elbows with these people. But in the meantime, like I said, I don't want to keep this gentleman waiting, because I'll tell you, from the day when we met this gentleman and we heard his story, I'll tell you, I mean, what an inspirational story. What a great guy. Like, he is just, I mean, he's a Bigfoot, but a gentle Bigfoot. And I'll tell you, the greatest guy you can ever know. And I'll tell you, everybody in the paranormal community just loves this guy. When he's around, you're going to have a great time. And I'll tell you, his story is nothing but truly inspirational.
And you know what? Exactly. So hello to Rhonda Hart, Facebook user. What's up, boys? I'm not sure what your name is. Please let us know who you are. We can't see who you are, unfortunately, through this right here. But hello to you. Hi, side. No rascals. Hi, side. And here we go.
That is Richie B's buddy, Wojo.
The Great Wojo. I knew a wrestler named the Great Wojo back in the day. Love the name Wojo. Fantastic. Takes me back. Thank you for joining us tonight. Of course, we appreciate you. That goes without saying. Now, if you love fur babies, let me tell you something. As much as Dale and I do, doggos, kitties, raccoons, skunks, yes, they can all be pets. Absolutely. Anything made of fur, if you will. I guess we'll go there. The Legacy of Murray. This has gone on since 2013. Our next guest, he founded a way to create a legacy for a magnificent shelter rescue pup that really touched his heart, saved his life. Together, they've raised over $100,000 helping animal shelters. Okay. Please welcome today's guest. Definitely one of the most genuine, nicest souls we've ever had the pleasure to meet. He's truly one of a kind. TPV Nation. We give you Pawtographs for Pooches founder. Thank you for joining us today on the show, Tim Maile.
What an intro. Wow. This is I was looking forward to it because I think it's the first time I've been on an actual show. We've done live cut-ins from events and stuff, but it's the first time I've sat down with you guys for a pretty long, lengthy time here, and just excited about seeing both of you here in I don't know 5 days.
Absolutely. No, I mean, from the first time we ever, and I think this was up at Mid Michigan. The MI Paracon. Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking. I'm so sorry. I'm getting there. It's been a long weekend.
If you get those two mixed up, I think you end up on somebody's shit list. But
probably. At the MI Paracon, we met you up there about 5 years ago now, I think.
I think my first MI Paracon was in 2021. So this will be my fourth one this year. Looking forward to it. I spoke in 2021, been a vendor ever since. Yeah, I remember you guys were in a row behind me and came over and I did a little 5-minute thing with you guys and talked to you guys that weekend and here we are, some time later and friendship. So that's
and you're still going strong, like Pooches for Pawtographs or Pawtographs for Pooches. It is an amazing event, and you put this together. But yeah, I mean, going strong this many years later, creating a legacy for your best friend in life. I mean, I'll tell you, that is something to be very proud of. And we give kudos to you, like 5 years. Like I said, you've been out there spreading the word and helping other people find their best friend as well by doing what you do. And we just want to say congratulations to you and thank you for what you do.
Well, I appreciate it.
It's fifth annual. You've been doing this 10 years, right?
This is 11 years in April. It's the fifth Pawtographs Parafest.
Sorry about that.
We did many smaller events, starting. Well, here, let me look. I can tell you exactly when. 2015, we started doing these. So it's been 9 years we've been doing the exclusive events, and I owe that to John Cassidy because he was the guy that said, "Hey, I think we should do exclusive events," and I wasn't sold on it, but I will tell you there's a lot that goes into these events, and a lot of this gray hair you see, is from those events. But yeah, just I can't take any of the credit though. I don't feel comfortable doing it. This is Murray's story, and it's his thing. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be doing any of this. So it all starts with him. And like I said, I'll always play second fiddle to my boy. Miss him incredibly, but we keep pushing forward, and I'm sure we'll get into all of that as we go along here.
So Tim, real quick here, before we get into the meat and potatoes of why we're here and what we want to talk about with you, backstage we were talking. Hello to Sarah Jane from Get Haunted. Hello, Courtney Peterson, of course. Thank you everybody for tuning in today. Joining us with Tim Maile. Pawtographs for Pooches is happening 5 days away. So excited for that. Tim, you were a paranormal investigator for a long time, and a lot of people don't really touch on that because it gets overshadowed by what you're doing now, which is an amazing thing, of course. But I want to know a little bit about that, Tim Maile, the investigator. What got you started doing that? Did you have something happen as a kid?
No, just this house here. I bought this house when I was 31 and had activity, and I'm 48 now, so we're going on 17 years of living with it. But eventually found out that the activity in the house at the time was my dad. But 31 years old, never dealt with anything paranormal, and really kind of just had it thrown at me, and tried to get some teams in the area in to explain this to me after I stumbled upon ghost hunters. That's how naive I was to everything. I was 31 years old, and ghost hunting or paranormal investigation wasn't on my radar. And next thing you know, my life changes, and for the better, obviously. But at the time, just tried to get somebody in here. Nobody would return my calls, my emails.
Wow.
Forced me to, kind of educate myself on this stuff. And eventually just kind of looked at my friends and said, there's probably other families out there that are looking for help and they're not getting it. And that was the reason that Fox City's paranormal team was born. And that started in January 2008. We just went past 16 years of doing that. 4 years into what we were doing, we ended up with the perfect case, a lot of activity, a great story behind it. And it ended up on Paranormal Witness.
Nice.
Season 3, The Innocent is the title of the show. I was naive again to the fact that there were so many people that watched that show. And as soon as it aired, my life changed. And there were all these people contacting me, wanting to know more about the case, obviously, wanting to know more follow-up. And then I started getting opportunities within the paranormal field. And that really is the reason that Pawtographs for Pooches was successful in the beginning, is because I was given that platform of the paranormal and the paranormal conventions, and able to kind of use that as a springboard to get things going. So without the paranormal field, without the great people that come to these events, Pawtographs for Pooches wouldn't be anything. And like I said, it's all about Murray. It's all about his legacy.
Yes.
And just wanted people to understand how special he was. When I got him, I was going through a real tough time in my life, and a very, very dark time. And I want to say like 2.5 months after getting him, I had a suicide attempt. And the only reason I'm here is because Murray came into that room and he put his head on my arm and snapped me out of it. And I will say this, if you're ever in the state of mind, if you ever hit that low, there's no logical thought in your head. There really isn't. And I know that because I was there. So him doing that is the reason I'm here. Snapped me out of it. And then eventually he became this angel for me. He passed away in 2019, unfortunately. Had him for 13 fantastic years. Every day I would lift up his ear and tell him thank you for the second chance at life. I like to think we're doing a lot with it. So things are so much better now these days. Doing great personally. Pawtographs for Pooches is growing. It's now Murray's legacy. Tim and Lauren, a new chapter, and just a lot of great things happening, and none of that happens if he doesn't walk into that room that night. So he saved my life. People like to say I saved his, but maybe it's just a good team. And
I like that.
I do everything I can to this day to honor him because he deserves it. And it doesn't matter if he's here physically or not, he's still my boy. And I love him to death. And every day wish he was here. He would have had his 18th birthday in April, and at this point, 18 for a dog, he wouldn't have been moving. So it's bittersweet.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of memories there and a lot of great things that we still get to do and some messages that he passes along. So I'm real fortunate.
Oh, okay.
Can't hear you, Dale.
That is the most inspirational thing. Can you guys hear me now?
Sorry. Yeah, this microphone thing, got to get it checked. Anyway, that is like the moment we heard that story. I mean, wow. I mean, mental illness is not something, and it's having more of a shining light nowadays more than ever. And I mean, to be able to be here with us today, and we're so grateful that Murray did what he did, and a lot of people that don't get that second chance like you did to tell their story like you are today and telling Murray's story. That is the greatest thing. And I'll tell you, we're thankful you're here. We're thankful you're spreading the word. And like we said, is because of what you're doing today, you've probably helping a lot of people find their best friend like you did. And probably those same scenarios are ringing out across the country. So thank you for being here. Thank you for Murray. And we just hope that the next chapter in Murray's life, where this is growing, is going to be even more spectacular. And more people are going to hear Murray's story. And I think that's going to make a difference in the world.
I sure hope so. Thank you again for the kind words. He was a special little boy. I rarely call him a dog, and if I do call him a dog, it's because I made a mistake. That day that he saved me, he no longer was a dog to me. He was my son.
Yeah,
and that's how I loved him. I loved him every day like he was my boy.
Yeah,
and just an unspoken bond with him. Very rarely had to even say a word. He just knew what I needed, knew what I wanted from him. One of the smartest dogs I've ever had in my life. And it's hard to compare when you have that special dog, when you have that perfect dog. Everything after that kind of pales in comparison. But he's to this day, he's just very special to me, very special to a lot of people within the paranormal field and around the country. Just really proud of what he's done and what we've been able to do in his name.
absolutely.
So I'm going to say it like this, Tim. You found your soulmate in Murray. 100%. I believe that's true. I've had one dog that was my soulmate. I was that close. I believe so. His name was Buster. Rest in peace to him, of course. So now, Murray, he did so much for you, your life. He saved your life, right? Oh, who do you got there?
This is Bo.
What's up, buddy?
He insisted that he get some airtime. So
I love it.
Here he is. Yeah, this is actually my last remaining contact to Murray. This was his kitty. So
okay.
Yeah, it's only fitting that he gets up here. But
you must know you're talking about Murray then for sure.
Sorry I interrupted you.
No, are you kidding?
No.
I interrupt people all the time. God. So Murray saved your life. Now enter another soulmate, if you will, right? Her name is Lauren, and you guys seem inseparable. You guys are teammates, I guess I'll put it like that. On the sidelines, I know I speak for many when I say this, Dale included, we're cheering you both on, of course, right? Loving what we see, what you're posting, what you guys are doing together. How did you two meet?
We met at Michigan Paracon in last year. Just a fluke thing where she lived 35 minutes from me, and it took us going to Sault Ste. Marie to meet each other. And it was, it was a pretty good friendship in the beginning. We kept in contact because it was a paranormal team from Wisconsin.
Okay.
And I'm not exactly sure when it happened, but at one point we kind of looked at each other and thought, "Oh, we are in trouble."
What?
Because it was undeniable that we were meant to be together. So she's got the kids tonight, but I know she's watching. She sent me a message. So she was the missing piece. I'll say it.
Undeniable for sure.
She was the missing piece. And actually last August at Michigan Paracon, I talked to Tim Ellis and asked him if I could have the floor next year at Michigan Paracon to say goodbye. I was going to stop doing Pawtographs just because it was so stressful. It was affecting my mental health again, and just a lot to take on.
Sure.
And within a couple months of knowing Lauren, she kind of looked at me and she said, "If you had somebody that was willing to take on the stress and be an equal and be a partner, would you continue to fight for your dream?" And how can you say no to that? So that's where we're at. She initially didn't want to do the name change on social media. And I need to make it very clear. It was not her idea. There were people that when we changed the name, I got private messages from people just angry that I changed the name, angry that I would put Lauren's name in this, that she had nothing to do with it. And those people are all blocked. Yeah, those people are all blocked now. But it was one of those things where, if she's going to be an equal in this, I want her to get equal credit. Because she is huge behind the scenes. She's doing a lot behind the scenes that is that goes unnoticed. But first and foremost, making sure I'm okay.
Yeah.
I've never had, I know this is a paranormal show. We're supposed to be talking about Pawtographs, but I have never had anybody that has loved me that way and has cared about me. And I said it on her birthday in a post that, she made me believe I was worthy of being loved again. So here we are. And I would do anything for that woman. And, the sky's the limit with this relationship. I see a lot of people when we post stuff, they're talking about the M word. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves yet. But I definitely see her and I growing old together, and we'll see when that happens. But she's a pretty special lady. She's going to be at Pawtographs Parafest 5. By some of the comments, I'm guessing that people are more excited to meet her than to see me, and that's fine. But I just wanted everybody to know that she's this wonderful person, and she's the reason that Pawtographs for Pooches continues to this day. So I got to give her credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
Thank you for Lord for actually. I think Murray went to the rescue on this one for you. Go, no, you can't end this, Dad. Here. We'll send you somebody who's going to help you out. And like I said, it's amazing. You know what? Whenever you can find anybody who will, it's not that. To compliment you is what I'm trying to say, and it seems like exactly what Lauren has done and brought fresh air into you and to Murray's story. So God bless it, because I don't know what we would do if we didn't have Pooches for Pawtographs. I'll tell you, it's just kind of one of those things. It's like you never want to see that story end, because Murray's going to be with us no matter how long you are out there telling the story, and every time you tell it, a new person who's going to be watching this show, because now we are on KGRA digital media. This show is going worldwide. So there's going to be hearing your story worldwide coming up. So you're going to touch so many more lives, and people are going to be that much more thankful that you're still telling this story. And thank you to Lauren for being there to be that person that actually said, hey, here, you don't have to do this alone. So thank you to her. And I know we briefly met at Old Mill last year, but I look forward to hanging out with her some more, finding out what it takes to be the person that made Tim happy again.
I will tell you, it's a job. I am not easy to deal with on some days, especially coming up on this event. There's a lot of stress, and some days I just vent for hours, and that's okay. But she's always there. She's listening. I can't wait for her to get to Pawtographs Parafest 5, and like I said, get the credit she deserves, and meet some of these people that are very happy for me. I think the majority of the people that are so happy for me just never thought that I would find anybody. That's the thing. So they're just shocked that somebody will put up with me. But she's incredible, and I could probably talk about her for the next 33 minutes. But if I do that, I'm going to get a message saying you need to talk about Pawtographs and stop talking about me. So we'll leave it at she is the most special woman I've ever met in my life, and words can't describe it. But
that is awesome. But Lauren, we promise we're going to stop talking about you. But thank you so much once again. You are an amazing person, and thank you for keeping Tim in line. So let's talk about some of the people you have speaking. I've got this amazing poster up here. We've got some of the most amazing speakers we can ever think of. Some people we've known. You've got, of course, Dustin Perry, who, last year's event, here is a guy who does not give up. He drove, I think, something like 8 hours to get last year's event because it was a blizzard the day before, and this guy fought tooth and nail to make sure that he was there to be a part of it.
Yeah, there were a few people like that, but yeah, Dustin got rerouted and landed in Milwaukee, and a good day Milwaukee to Ann Arbor is about 6 hours, and he drove in a blizzard to get there. He rented a car and got there for us. Just did everything he could to get there. He told me on the phone, he said, I'm going to drive there because I'm a warrior for Murray. His exact words. John Zaffis was there last year, and he got postponed and delayed until Saturday morning, but he still came to the event. And he had a great time, and people loved seeing him there. But this year, selfishly, I invited Barry Fitzgerald because I've wanted to meet that man for years.
Yeah.
And here's my opportunity. Been a friend of Barry's for years and just really respect him. Heather Taddy's going to be at the event, and the reason that happened is because Dustin introduced me to her at Michigan Paracon, and so we got that rolling. Excited to have Heather there, and then a lot of the folks that are rounding out the lineup. There's some new faces, like Casey is going to be new this year. John Tenney, his first Michigan. Well, that's not true. His first Southeast Michigan Pawtographs event. He did an event for me in Petoskey years ago.
Yeah.
But Jamila McKenzie is going to be there. Christine Carpenter.
So many good people.
And then the normals, me and Todd, Brad and Tim, Deb, Christy, Dana, all doing a mediumship gallery on Friday night. Kelly and Chris, new to the Pawtographs thing. And then Dan Class and Richard Estep. I think I got them all. But thank you for putting the poster up, because usually I forget everybody.
Like I said, this is an amazing group of speakers. I know this year you were actually going 2 days with it. Last year, or I think several years before, it's just the 1 day. Is this the first time you're trying this 2 days? Is this a new format for you?
It is. We did so well last year in a blizzard that I thought, okay, let's grow this.
Yeah.
So we're having 3 speakers Friday night, and I don't have that in front of me. I think it's Casey, it's Kelly and Chris, and then the medium gallery is what Friday night is.
Awesome.
And then all day Saturday, doors open at 9, and goes till 8 p.m. And because I'm running the event, Todd and I are going on last. Otherwise, I would never main event an event. So, but it just makes sense to have Todd and I go on last, because then we can go right into how much we raised for the shelter. We can bring the shelter up there, give them the donation, and let them speak to everybody. And it just seems to work that way. But I mean, when you have a lineup that midday is Barry Fitzgerald, Heather Taddy, John Tenney, Dustin Perry, I mean, I'll put that lineup up against any paranormal event. So very, very proud of the people we have there this year. Hoping people come out and support it. We just got a little bit of a blurb on Fox 2 in Detroit. So I'm hoping that helps us with some walk-up sales, but there's plenty of room for everybody. And if you can't make it, I encourage you to think about donating. Pawtographs for Pooches.com. There's a donation button on the homepage there, and just click on that, and all the donations will go to the Humane Society of Huron Valley.
And what's incredible, I mean, so for 10 years now, for shelters around the country, you've raised over $100,000. I mean, you talk about stress. Obviously, you have a lot on your plate, but you've put so much into it. I mean, what a reward at the end of all that. And thank you for doing that. For all those homeless animals, all those shelters, is, you know what I mean? Anybody knows anything about them, you know, these poor animals have been through the stories they could tell, you know, and here you are making sure they got food in their belly. They got a roof over their head, if you will. They got a soft spot to sleep. That says a lot about who you are as a human being. So thank you for doing that. But I mean, oh my God, again, I say, to raise that much money in 10 years. Wow.
Well, we went over $100,000 in 2022, I believe. We're at 119,000 now. But when we went over $100,000, what should have been like this huge celebration and source of pride, just wasn't for me. Okay. It was almost, I don't want to sound ungrateful, but the $100,000 became a goal when people realized we were close to it. It was never a goal for me, and then it became a goal for me and a goal for everybody. But then the question started with, well, what's next? You know, and people were like, oh, 200,000. And some people that were way out there were like, oh, 1 million. And all of a sudden it wasn't fun anymore, because there were all these expectations on it. In the last 2 years have been kind of slow. We had a rough event in Wisconsin last year in September. The only event that really seems to do well is the Michigan event. So that's one of the things that Lauren and I are talking about behind the scenes. You know, do we shift gears? Do we go a different direction with some of this stuff, and find a different way to raise money for animals? Because running 3 or 4 events a year, is going to put me in an early grave. So that's where we're at. But I mean, I'm also blessed to be able to do events this year at the Palmer House in Minnesota. We're doing that in May, and then in July also we're going back out to the Hinsdale House, because Dan Class is a great guy. He gave me the Hinsdale House for free, and said, come raise some money for the animals, and that's what we're going to do. Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed. I'm a very lucky person, but with all of that comes a lot of responsibility and pressure, because you want to keep doing better each time.
Right.
And there's pressure to bring in a bigger lineup every year. There's pressure to bring in bigger names. Whereas maybe next year we just scale back and we bring in 1 or 2 and we have a smaller event, and we go that route. But there's a lot of things that are on the table. We're going to enjoy Ann Arbor. We're going to have a lot of fun there. Hopefully we're celebrating a big donation. But yeah, there's a lot of things going forward that may change. But the goal is always going to be raising as much money as we can for the animals, and doing whatever we can to do that. But you mentioned, so many animals that may have been adopted because of these events and these donations. One of the things that I did not expect when I started telling my story was that there would be people that would come up to me afterwards and want to tell me theirs because it opened up that dialogue. They want to tell me their story. They want to tell me about their dog or cat. They want to tell me about how their dog or cat saved them. How I had a lady come up to me in Dundee the very first time I was there, and she was crying, and she had her 3 adult children with her. And she told me that her daughter had passed a few years ago, and they just had to put her cat down, and that was her last connection to her daughter. And it just stories like that. And then you meet kids, kids that are like 10 years old, that are 14 years old, that are going through all of these mental health issues. And they want to come up to you afterwards and they want to hug you and tell you about all these things that are happening in their life and how your words help them.
Right.
And I don't think I deserve that. That kills me though, that a 10-year-old or a 14-year-old is going through that much. That they'll come up to a guy that they've never met before. They listen to him talk for 45 minutes, but they'll come up to me and they trust me enough to tell me their story. And I would say that's probably the most special part of all of this. It's just having that connection and being there for people when they need it. A close second is getting to visit all these shelters and love on dogs.
Right.
Knowing that we shared a post of a dog that's been in a shelter for almost a year, and the Pawtographs family shares it, and that dog gets adopted a week later. We all did that last year, and that's huge. I mean, that's pretty cool. And so we get to do a lot of great things. There's a lot of stress leading up to it, but I can't lose sight of all the great things that we're able to do.
Real quick, I want to say hi to the comments on the side. We got Jenny Davis from Unturned Pages. She's also part of the Get Haunted Paranormal Podcast program. A few people saying hello. I can't see your names. I'm sorry. Of course, Mama Deb from Mystical Awakenings, UFO Contact Convention. Oh, my God. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in right here, right now. Tim, I want to comment on what you just touched on with the kids coming up to you. Essentially, Tim, whether you want to believe this or not, to get up there and share a story with what you went through with the attempt on your life, that make you, bro, you got to be brave, number one, to get up there and admit that and share that. Let alone to admit it, but share that in front of people so they see that to you. I mean, you're someone that's like, wow, it resonates to them. They relate to it. You know what I mean? What a position for you. That's a gift. You know what I mean? And I commend you, and I'm sure many people do, to get up there again. My man, bravery beyond belief. That's not easy to do. And so you're a hero to those kids. So to sit, you're very humble. And that's why I think a lot of people appreciate you so much. But what a gift for you to do that. So thank you for even doing that.
Thank you. I want to comment on Deb being here. How great is that lady?
Oh,
like that, she has been in my corner for years and been a great friend, kind of my paranormal mom, and just really happy that she's in here. But she's an incredible lady, and she's a big part of Pawtographs. She did a lot of stuff for us when we ran events at Houghton Lake. She basically ran that damn thing for me, set everything up for me, and I mean she's a huge part of Pawtographs, and you have to have her at the event. It wouldn't be an event without Deb.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, Deb has been so much. Deb and RJ has been so much to so many people,
including us.
Mom and Dad, Wizard. They are such people, and they have been big parts. Have a big part of everybody's life. I mean, she is a huge success of why we are where we are today, being able to do what we are doing, because we have support like people like Deb and RJ behind us. Michael John actually gets to speak at their UFO Contact Convention this year, which is a huge thing because Michael John, like I said, he's been moving and grooving. Debut book last year, so I mean, we look forward. But what you're doing and what how many lives you have touched by just telling your story and being out there and saying to people, here I am. I have mental illness. I suffer from it daily. I had a best friend save my life, and now I have to honor his life by telling his story. And how many people hear your story and feel compelled that they can open up to, like you said, a complete stranger they never knew before this day. It is an amazing position to be in, and we are glad that people like you, Dustin Perry, I mean, if you follow Dustin Perry on any of his social media, he is out there telling people you're not alone. You know, you talk to people, get that help. Don't be afraid to talk. And here you are, you're doing it. So thank you for many people out there suffering from mental illness and who are too afraid to talk about it. And you're doing it on a grand scale at the same time, saving lots of animals' lives and a lot of people by allowing them to find another Murray in their life.
Quick note on Dustin Perry. The whole reason that he and I became friends is that Tim Woolworth was at an event, had gone to coffee with Dustin, and Tim grabbed me and walked me over to Dustin and said, Dustin, this is Tim. Tim, this is Dustin. You guys have more in common than you will ever know. And Dustin and I began talking, and it's been a friendship that I hope lasts forever. He's been a big supporter of Pawtographs, and we've had him at a lot of events. It's one of those things where you kind of ask yourself, is he as nice in real life as he is on social media? And he is just a really genuine guy and a good friend. And I can never forget that one of the first people that called me after Murray passed was Dustin Perry, just to ask how I was doing. So special. You know, you don't get a whole lot of big time celebrities that will do that for you. And Dustin is, whether he wants to admit it or not. But yeah, I get uncomfortable when we start talking about how great Tim is, because Tim looks in the mirror and he sees the guy that sits on his couch in his shorts and he just watches wrestling, and he's just a normal guy. I do have a dream though, Michael.
Okay.
I think next year for Pawtographs, whatever event we do in Michigan, I think I need Michael and Dale there. I think they need to speak. But I also need to find a wrestling ring and have one match with Michael John.
Oh God.
Walk me through it and help me live out my dream.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
We can talk about it.
Oh my God, that would be. I think that should headline WrestleMania 41. Let's get Triple H on the phone.
No, let's not do that. I've been a wrestling fan since I can remember, and for me, it was all about escaping reality.
Yep. And
my childhood was not fun. But every Saturday morning, I had an hour to slip into a different world, and I was able to just lose myself in that world for an hour. And like I said, escape reality. And I know as you get older, you're supposed to outgrow that stuff, but I never did. And I love it so much. I love the stories. I love the action. Yep. So whoever is sitting out there in the comment section laughing, I got news for you. Your sitcoms are all fake too. I used the fake word. I shouldn't have done that. They're all scripted.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Tim. I'm right along with you. I'm a huge wrestling fan myself. If you saw my replica belt collection, it is something to drool over. But yeah, no, I take me and my youngest son go to a lot of the big events. We just went to SummerSlam in Detroit, Michigan last year.
I was there.
Were you? Oh yeah, that's right. I was trying to find you guys because I messaged you. I'm like, where are you guys sitting? Because we were on. I actually got me and my son main floor tickets, and I'll never do that again. Main floor for SummerSlam like that. horrible. I had to watch it on the TV screen. I could have sat at home in peace and quiet with a beer and enjoyed it a lot more. But I did it for my son because he never been to such a big event before, and Michael John over there is his godfather, so he actually has a wrestling godfather, which he finds exciting sometimes. Even though he's bigger than his uncle or his godfather, I should say.
Two of me, at least two of me. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I would pay to see Tim Maile and Irish Bobby Clancy get in the ring and hook it up one time. But I think really, Tim, you'll have to carry him because he's so old and broken down.
I don't think you guys understand just how old I am.
You can't be a day over 40. You can't be a day over 40.
Oh, I'm a way over 40.
Are you?
Yeah,
I'm 52 soon. So
yeah, well, I'm 4 years behind you.
See, you're young. You're young.
Yeah, I'll be. Oh my God, I'll be 49 in May. That is awful.
No, that is awesome. No, yeah. Anytime you want me and Michael John to help you out in any capacity, you know how to find us, brother. We are there definitely for you and definitely for Murray. And like I said, what you've done with this Pawtographs, it has been absolutely amazing. I look forward to seeing the next chapter of Murray's legacy grow with Lauren by your side, because I think the two of you guys are going to be totally unstoppable. And I would actually say Murray's up there doing the happy dance for his dad.
I always say he's up there pulling the strings, and I'm just the puppet now. He makes the rules. He decides what happens, and yeah, he's. I hope he's proud. That's the only thing I can say is I hope that he's with us in Ann Arbor, and he's looking down, and he's proud. That's the best that I could ever hope for.
I gotta ask, in relation to Murray, his passing and the paranormal, I know you've got stories where he's reached out to you in some capacity. Please share a couple if you don't mind.
I do, and man. Well, right after Murray passed, the shelter in Oshkosh here where I live, they were getting pit lab puppies up from Alabama, and I wasn't ready, but that wasn't up to me. And they told me to pick a dog, and I had picked this boy, and I got a message from my good friend April Roan, medium, and she said Murray's thrilled that you're going to get a puppy, but he also wants to remind you that you promised he'd be the only boy. And so I went back and I looked at all the pictures again, and I found a little girl with the same markings as Murray as a puppy, exact same.
Wow. And
I named her Ray. It's R-A-E. It's the last three letters of Murray's name, or what it was going to be. I would name a boy Ray too, but where Murray was the smartest dog I ever had, Ray may be the dumbest. she's a beautiful, beautiful girl. But that was one of the stories. Another was I had a dream visitation one night where I was playing with Murray in the field.
Yeah.
And he ran into a culvert, and I panicked because he was gone. And Ray came running back through the culvert. And to me, that was him telling me, this one's on me. I got you. And most recently, he's come through and he talks to me all the time now. And it's wonderful. It'll just be short messages. The last message that he gave me was that he was responsible for Lauren. And he said he loves Mom. And the fact that he recognizes her as Mom, that means the world to me. And the fact that he's still up there looking out for his old man also means the world. But I know he's going to be with us in Ann Arbor. I know people are going to come up and give me messages from him.
Yeah.
I wish he was there with us, because boy, would he enjoy it. He was a ham. He was a ham. He loved the attention, and every event that I had him at, I sat back and I was beaming. I was so proud. For a dog that shouldn't have liked people, because as a puppy he was just beaten so badly. For a dog that shouldn't have loved people, he sure did. He loved him with everything. So yeah, he deserves all of this. You know, he deserves people to still talk about for what he did for me, and now years later for what he's done for people around the country, for animals around the country. Like I said, it's Murray's story. Nobody's going to come and get a picture of me. They may get a picture of me and Murray. They may get a picture of Ray and I, or Daisy and I. They're not going to come up and get just a picture of me. That's not how it goes. They listen to Murray's story, and I say it's Murray's story because if he wasn't there, there'd be no story. So everything about him and what he did for me that night, I honor him in every way that I can. And I'm so passionate about it, and honestly protective. Like, if somebody out there says a bad word about Pawtographs or Murray, you had better be ready to defend yourself. That's just where I am. There's no reason to say a bad word about him. He was an angel on earth, and he's an angel right now.
Absolutely, and if anybody has anything bad to say about Murray, I'm sure he would go bite them. But no, I mean, Tim, like we say, you are one of the nicest, most kindest, most humble person who's out there telling their story about a little puppy that came into your life and saved your life. And thank God for that. We cannot say that enough about Murray. Thank you. That animals are just like that. They know when their owners are hurting, and Murray knew that day. And you are here, and you are living up to his legacy. And like I said, Murray's out there. He is so proud of this whole thing and glad that you are still talking about him, and that nobody will ever forget Murray. Anybody who's met Murray, like I said, in absolute joy. I remember seeing him. You did have him at Pawtographs the one year, or not at Pawtographs, at the MI Paracon the one year, because I do remember, but I never had a chance to physically meet Murray. And sometimes you kick yourself in the butt for not taking opportunities when they're presented to you. But all the stories I hear about Murray, like I said, special soulmate in your life. But I want to give you this time because, like I said, this hour has flown by. We could talk about Murray and Lauren and you for probably the next 3 hours, or even until next Friday. And this event's going to happen. But we want to give you some time to get a rest. But the stage is yours. Please give us all the information, how to get tickets, how to even donate to the event for people who are going to be listening to this show, not only tonight, but during the week, all the way up until Pawtographs. If they want to donate Murray's honor, how they can do all that.
Well, first and foremost, you got to go to pawtographsforpooches.com. Hit that events tab, and you'll see the tickets available for Pawtographs Parafest 5. The event starts Friday. There will be tickets available at the door. Tickets online or at the door are $85. All proceeds go to the Humane Society of Huron Valley. If you can't make it out there and join us, there's two ways you can help us out. You can go to the Pawtographs for Pooches homepage, pawtographsforpooches.com. Homepage, and there's a donation tab there. Or if you're friends with me on Facebook, I have a handy little donation available that goes directly to Humane Society of Huron Valley through Facebook. So a bunch of ways to get involved. Come on out and see us. There's going to be 50-50 raffles. Michelle Nason's going to have her baskets this year again. I believe we're going to have some silent auction items. Just going to be a lot of fun. Vendors Friday night, all day Saturday. Speakers Friday night, all day Saturday. It's a different event. It's not like your normal paranormal event because everybody there has one goal, and that one goal is to raise as much money as we can for Humane Society of Huron Valley and in Murray's memory. And everybody gets excited about that final number. And I'm hoping the number's big again this year, but we'll see. We'll see what we can do.
With
Absolutely.
that, everybody. Well, go ahead, Dale.
I was just gonna say absolutely. So, Michigan, let's not back down now. Let's keep Murray's vision going. And anybody who's listening to this podcast today, tomorrow, next week, you know what? Get out there. Even check the event page. Find a Pooches for Pawtographs that's going to be coming close to you. I know there's only 3, but you know what? He's out there. So yeah, be a part of it. Help Murray's legacy. Help other people find their best friend, just like Tim found his.
You want to talk about something amazing? Thank you, first off, to everybody, the TPV Nation, from day one to day now. Everybody in the comments tonight that were engaging, saying hello, making their comments, you know, just sharing their love of Murray, sharing the love of Tim Maile, all the above. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say, wow, what a story of courage, hope, life-saving. We're talking about a man and his boy, some know it as dog, he calls it his boy, is now in the picture, soulmate Lauren. So many wonderful things happening, ladies and gentlemen. All these proceeds benefit the Humane Society of Huron Valley. This is Murray's legacy. Pawtograph for Pooches, donations, tickets, information, pawtographforpooches.com. Tim Maile, thank you so much. One more time, brother. We love you more than words can say. Keep doing what you're doing and keep being who you are.
I love you guys too. I can't wait to see you Friday.
We definitely, yes.
We'll talk after the show and we'll get this thing set for next March. And,
awesome.
We'll see you guys there.
Definitely.
Thank you.
We will see you all on the other side. But in the meantime and in between time, happy hauntings.
Happy hauntings.